What's going on, everyone? How are we all doing this fine, wonderful evening? I'm pretty tired, not gonna lie, but you know what? 'Tis life, we move on. Is that a Kelf you see? That is a Kelf. What's going on, Zingy? How you doing, man? It looks like it, yeah. I'll say you and Stacy. And Jared. What's happening, buddy? All right, gotta pull up my windows here. There we go. That's a little better. Oh, yeah. I was here, but yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be working on some things today, and I gotta build something. As you can see here on the left, a new subclass, and that's something I'm gonna be adding to the GM binder here. Gonna show a little bit of my process, but most of it's just still like back notes and stuff. I'm also gonna switch. I found a really cool YouTube video that is 4 hours of medieval lo-fi. That's called Medieval Lo-Fi for a Closing Tavern, and it's by the YouTube channel Medieval Lo-Fi. So if you're at all interested in the music I'm listening to and what you'll be hearing in the background throughout this stream, check out their YouTube channel, give them a subscribe. It's his own music, so he says it is copyright free. You can use it as long as you attribute it. So there's the attribution right there. But yeah, so we're, like I said, I'm gonna be working on the subclass, and then we'll answer some questions. So it's always fun. Oh, thank you, Stacy. Yes, for those that don't know, today is my birthday. So spending it with all y'all. All right. Okay, I'm gonna shrink this just a bit so I get a little bit more screen real estate. All right, so yeah, so like I was saying before, the subclass that I came up with this past week was so obviously The Last of Us. Also watched Honor Among Thieves. Gotta say, went in with low expectations. I loved the D&D movie. Better than I could have ever hoped for, and just absolutely blown away with how good they did. I definitely don't want to talk spoilers yet. I think what I'm going to do is next week, after we've had a nice week, next week's D&D and Chill might be a spoiler fest where we take the time to talk about all the little bits and pieces of it. I have a lot of notes that I've been collecting, so I'm gonna go and see it another time and try and like really pick out things to talk about. So super happy with how it came out, and fingers crossed that that this leads into more Hollywood opportunities for D&D content. I know that Joe Manganiello said that he was very interested and in chats or in talks with a Dragonlance project. So hey, hopefully something like that happens. Kelf writes the next D&D. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want that on my shoulders. What is your idea for a race, Aaron? I'm very curious. I mean, I thought it was just gonna be D&D stereotypes, but it seems like they actually, yeah. You know what? Well, and that is the nice thing, is that the showrunners actually played D&D for a number of years. They played for like 20 years. It started when they were on the show Freaks and Geeks, and they ended up playing as part of that, and then they just kept playing. So yeah, that has happened, and I'm really happy that is the case. Aaron, you said that you want a race with 4 arms. All right, well, here you go, buddy. It's called the Shokan, and it's from Mortal Kombat. And here's their racial traits as per a 3.5 supplement. So yeah, somebody, if you Google if you Google Shokan, you'll find it. It's out there. So what's up, Wawaki? Your boy got some ink. That's hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been tatted up for since I was 16. So 4 arms, 4 swords. So okay, here's the one argument that I would make against something like that. So here, let me pull these up. Let me pull these up again. Because this actually has a mechanic for that. Here it is. So you have 4 arms. As a bonus action, you may interact with your environment up to 2 additional times per round, as long as you're not holding anything in your hands. In addition, these can be used to hold items such as extra weapons and ammo, although they do not necessarily grant you extra attacks. If you're wielding a weapon that requires 2 hands, such as a spear or greatsword, you use it with disadvantage. If you have nothing in your hands or are wielding a one-handed weapon, you can make 4 attacks, 1 with each hand. So it's basically just one-handed weapons. Yeah, I've looked into this before. Somebody's brought this up before. I want a Muppets D&D movie where all the characters voiced by Muppets, but they're played by real actors. That's amazing. I got 3 little dragons going up my head. Hell yeah, dude. Hey, if you want, feel free to share your tattoo. If you want to share your ink over in the Discord channel, I would love to see it. I would love to see the ink. I've done my first D&D thing last weekend. Did it go well? Doesn't? I don't know. I probably didn't fit in the group. Well, hey, you know what? Honestly, sometimes that is the case, Wawa. If you do sometimes, if you don't jive with a group, you just got to move on and find another one, honestly. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've played in one very close-knit group for a long time with my closest friends. Some people have left and some people have joined that game. But you know, that group, you know, I enjoy playing with them, but I have played in a lot of one-shots and a lot of like side games with some people. And honestly, one-shots are a great way to really test the water with other players, because it's a good way to kind of feel somebody out if you do want to keep playing with them. And what Jared's referring to, what Ravenous is referring to, Wawaki, is his character's name is me in my Phandalin 5 game. So he is a mischievous goblin rogue with ghost powers. So I think if there's anyone right now in the P5 game that anyone has any ill intent towards, it might be you, and that's because he lit a man on fire. So, but hey, it is what it is. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm gonna be adding in, kind of sprucing up my barbarian path of the cordyceps subclass. So the Last of Us TV show and video game, that's recently been on my mind. My one friend is huge into the IP, and I wanted to come up with something that was kind of related to it. I was watching a video about The Last of Us, and I had this idea of, like, what if you got a parasite that made you extra violent and also helped you grow? Like, it was a very symbiotic thing, and you can kind of think of this, you might even play this up as like Venom from the Spider-Man series, or Carnage, where they are symbiotes. So you could really rename this Barbarian Path of the Symbiote, but it is a fungal thing. That's the main thing, where the symbiotes would be more necrotic and, you know, have more of a personality, I feel like. This one is more just a fungal infection throughout your body that's making you stronger, that's making you more resilient. You started The Last of Us. I've watched through it, so ooh, very nice. Let's pop that. Oh, dude, that looks awesome. Hell yeah, man. Oh, I know. I believe me, Jared. I'll use your name. I mean, I use it in my streams. Just referring to you, at least. Oh, dude, those are sick. Oh boy, look in the background. Look at that mouse. That, my friend, is the same mouse that I had. That is a red dragon. I'm trying to remember which one it is. Shoot, I can't think of it now. I had that same exact one. I had all those keys on the side. What is that? Is that the, I can't even see if it's wireless. I had the wired one that was, that thing was sick. It had 12 buttons on the side. Nah, dude, I ain't gonna roast your mouse, dude. I'm rocking a red dragon right now. It's just, it's their equivalent to a Model O. So, yeah, I just got the Hyperlight. But yeah, dude, red dragon, like, I have a red dragon, whatever this thing is called, a coaster. I got a red dragon desk mat. My headphones, actually, the first decent pair of headphones I got was red dragon. Yeah, dude, you're amongst good company. In fact, 3 of my keyboards over my cabinet are red dragons. As I sit here with a lot, boo. You know what? I can't even say boo. Every 2 weeks when I go to the library to play D&D in person, I use a Logitech 3-way. It's a triathlon mouse because it's able to connect to both of my iPads and my laptop. And I also use a 3-way Logitech keyboard that's actually designed with a slot to have an iPad sitting in it with a 3-way dial so that you can switch it between iOS and Bluetooth devices. So I ain't gonna say anything about Logitech because I'm using that all the time myself. But yeah, dude, sick tattoos. I love these. They look great. I love the art style too. Very simple, but very clean. And the fact that they're moving up your arm, that's always good luck. Anytime you ever have like creatures on your on your body, you generally want to have them going up. Behold my mouse, it's red and green. Yes, it is. I want to say I had that mouse at one time. Whatever gets you through, man. All right, so yeah, like I said, gonna be working on getting an actual sheet up for this Barbarian Path of the Cordyceps. I'm probably not going to do any images on it just yet. So I just got the tattoo yesterday, and I can imagine, dude, I remember mine would hurt for days. So you just got to keep them clean. Make sure that you're taking care of them. Don't do anything, don't do anything weird with them or nothing like that. So, oh shit, I did not mean to add the second part of this. That's why there was just so much text. All right. So, fungal infection, fungal implantation, and fungal proliferation. Oh, yeah, that's right. Your fox sin of greed. Ooh. Honestly, your fox sin of greed is one of the tattoos that I would love, and I would love to get the what is it? Shit, what is it? It's the bear. Is it the bear sin of sloth? Is that it? It's whatever King's is. The grizzly sin of sloth. Yeah, I knew it was a bear. I would love to get that because King was my favorite character in that whole show. You should get the avatar on your head. Yeah, honestly, funny enough, I would love to get a new tattoo at some point, but my next one would have to be D&D themed. So, without a doubt, this, here we go. Just got a little bit closer camera. It's hard to see, so I'm gonna turn off this light. All right, so this was the very first tattoo that I ever got. Here, we'll do that. There we go. Yeah, so this was the very first tattoo that I ever got. I just had the spade, and it was just because at that time I could only get something small. My parents were paying for it. I used the spade a lot as a symbol for stuff, and it was because it's like the #1 deck in the suit. The Ace of Spades is the #1 card. So it was just very much like something I had I had a lot of stuff that was spades already, and so it was like kind of my thing. I eventually got the wings because I saw this really cool art, and I loved the look of the wings, and I added the dice to represent my birthday. So as you can see on there, it's 4 and 3. April 3rd is my birthday, so that works. And then I got a little bit older, and I got this, which is kind of hard to see on there because of the screen. Let me see if I can. There we go. Yeah. So that is the Red Lantern symbol, and it says across the top in blood, it says "with blood and rage of crimson red," because my parents would not at the time let me get the full creed. Which, hey, I understand. Yeah, that would have been a big commitment. And then the last tattoo I got was these runes up my arm. Oh, that's hard to see. There we go. So there's that side, and that is my first and last name in Viking runes. So my next tattoo is 100% going to be something D&D related, and it's probably going to be the ampersand, some kind, or like a D20 or something like that, but it's definitely going to be the next one. All right. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Here, we'll get rid of my camera. There we go. Yeah, Foxen. Man. So it fades out for a little bit, but it still looks good. Oh, I'd love to get that King one. Maybe one day. Tattoos are addictive. That's one thing. Yeah, I see that you're realizing you already want to get another one. The moment you get one, you always plan them out. Cheaper than therapy. That's right. That's right, buddy. All right, so yeah, the description for this subclass, the Barbarian Path of the Cordyceps. So the Path of the Cordyceps is a barbarian subclass that embraces the symbiotic relationship between a fungal parasite and its host. Unlike most barbaric paths, the Path of the Cordyceps is not one often chosen of free will, but one imposed upon the unsuspecting host of the fungus. As the parasite grows within the barbarian, it increases its strength and allows them to spread the fungus to others. So the idea with this subclass is that if you were playing this, you could argue that possibly you come from like a swampy kind of territory where maybe this is like a ritualistic thing to be bonded to the spores and to the fungus around you. It could also be something where maybe you were going through an area where this fungus was growing and you accidentally drank something with the fungus or ate something with it, or somehow just got it into you at some point through the air. So it's kind of a subclass very much that is designed to be really like kind of gross almost. And the original design that I had for this, I actually have like 2 designs for it. So the first one was going to be where when you killed a creature, you could release a cloud of spores, and that would then allow those creatures to take extra damage. At 6th level, you would gain resistance to poison damage and advantage on saves against being poisoned, and your melee attacks would deal an extra 1d6. I also had it to where you'd gain the +2 to AC. 10th level was where you could use a bonus action to essentially infect a creature and use that creature as a thrall. So it'd be under your control for a number of hours equal to your constitution modifier, and you could have a number of them equal to your proficiency modifier. So you could increase your effectiveness over time. And at 14th level, your weapons now dealt extra damage, and your infected creatures, you could create a giant cloud that would infect creatures. So I took this, I went to one of my friends who's really good with balance, and he basically hit me with a whole line of questions, things that I had not thought about. And one of the things that he pointed out was nothing in this is related to the barbarian, because the barbarian's core mechanic is their rage. So if we look into the barbarian, a lot of their skills. So we'll say the beast, we'll say the totem warrior, and the zealot. So the beast is that when you enter a rage, you transform. The totem warrior gets these abilities which just kind of like buffs them in general, and the path of the zealot is when you're raging, creatures take extra damage. And a lot of this stuff kind of builds upon when you're raging, you know, you get these bonuses and stuff like that. So funny enough, I think the totem warrior is less inclined to that side. We'll look at Storm Herald. Here we go. Yeah, so you create a storm when you whenever you rage. So this is kind of the idea of what I was looking, you know, this is the idea that he brought to me and was like, there's nothing in here that ties it to the rage mechanics. So I took that advice and I essentially revamped it entirely. I just kind of scrapped it, moved it down here, and just kind of let it sit. And then I went back into it. So the way that it works now is, instead of getting that cloud burst at 3rd level, and I did actually at one point change it to when you rage, but I didn't actually hold that true through all of this. But originally you created a cloud burst. Now at 3rd level, when you rage, fungal growths protrude from your body, creating a poisonous armor-like coating that grants you a +2 to your AC. Oh crap, I forgot to add one thing here. and resistance to poison damage. That's spelled wrong. I had that in my notes off to the side. I gotta add that in here. There we go. Additionally, your melee attacks now deal an extra 1d6 poison damage as the fungal spores within your body infuse your strike. So now, at 3rd level, when you rage, you get these like fungal protrusions starting to come out of your body like a cordyceps often does. So when we look up cordyceps, you will oftentimes see these images of like a bug with these mushrooms coming out, these funguses coming out of it. So this is kind of the idea of this subclass, is when you rage, you are letting the cordyceps grow and bloom out of you. So you're getting these small little, poisonous mushrooms on you, and this fungal coating that's giving you a this +2 bonus to your AC because you're a little bit thicker now, and resistance to poison damage. I did want to, I haven't yet, and I might, because I'm still honestly kind of workshopping a little bit of this. One of the things that I did have in mind was additionally, your melee weapon attacks deal an extra 1d6. We're just going to replace that with melee. There's no reason the unarmed strike shouldn't. Your melee attacks deal an extra 1d6 poison damage. And before, was it shouting? Before was, the whispering. Okay, you know what? Actually, we're going to add something to here. I just thought of this. So, when raging, creating a poisonous armor-like coating that grants you a +2 to your AC, resistance to poison damage, and shit. I just remembered this one ability that it was, I don't think it was the spore. So I do want to say this is very similar to the spore druid to a degree. I did kind of take some of the ideas from it. But oh shoot, what was oh God, I gotta look something up. I gotta look up phrasing. It's a certain phrasing. Okay, hold on. Melee attacks against you. No, how do I word this? I can't think of how the specific wording is in D&D. I'm gonna put this in little quotes because I don't know how the wording is supposed to be. So you get a +2 to your AC, resistance to poisoning damage, and when a creature hits you with a melee attack, they take 1d6 poison damage. I don't know if I'm going to keep that. This is still just a workshopping thing. So, all right. You should make a Last of Us zombie in D&D. I'm sure there is. I'm sure somebody's already done it. Yep, there we go. Oh, this is even perfect. Look at that. Fungal zombie. Cordyceps spore. Just right there on Reddit. Yeah, and honestly, I would honestly love to say that this could just be, the thing. Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna keep that over on my other window. But Yeah, so I'll share this out into the homebrews on the Discord for anybody who wants those fungal zombies and cordyceps spores. Yeah, I mean, if Steve has an idea, like I said, so the idea behind this was like, it's poisonous armor like coating, so it's going to be a little bit of a buff. You're going to resist poison damage, and when a creature hits you with a melee attack, they take 1d6 poison damage. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just keeping that, because you're punching into the mushrooms, you're punching into the fungus. So yeah, I kind of want that. All right, so there we go. Additionally, your melee attacks deal an extra 1d6. Yeah, so it's so when somebody hits you, you know, they're taking some damage. When you hit them, they're taking some damage. Can they infect others with their... They can, and that's what we'll get into. So 6th level ability. You gain the ability to infect creatures you kill with your fungal spores. When you kill a creature with a melee weapon attack, we're just going to replace that with melee attack. While raging, you can use your bonus action to release spores that infect any creature within 5 feet of the slain enemy. The creature must make a Constitution save against your spore save DC, taking 2d6 damage on a failed save and becoming infected with the fungus for a minute. While infected, the creature takes an additional 1d6 poison damage whenever it takes damage from you. So the whole idea behind this one comes from that first, you know, Spores of the Fungal Host ability, where you create this cloud. So moving it up to the second subclass ability allowed me to increase the damage, and I also gave it an understanding of what it meant to do, or what it meant to be infected by this. Originally, the infection didn't mean anything, but now the infection means that when you take damage from this, oh god, what's going on my phone? It means that whenever you are next to this barbarian and they hit somebody, or they kill somebody, it creates this cloud, and they're using their bonus action to create this cloud. You fail that spore save DC, you're now infected. So you now have this fungus within you, and so every attack that you are doing, they are taking more of that damage. They're also taking some immediate damage from the cloud. And then the spore save DC is basically a spell save DC. It's 8 plus proficiency plus constitution modifier. So it's essentially a barbarian spell save. Not ready to share the barbarian. I was about to ask, saw your share. Thought that was it was? What? I mean, I'm probably going to share it out. But I am going to share it out. I'm just still, like, you know, going through testing some of the waters, making sure that I have everything the way that I want it before I really push it out. All right, so we now have the ability to create a fungal armor that's making us a little harder to hit, resistant to poison damage, and when things hit us and when we hit things, they take a little bit of extra poison damage. We now have the ability to create a cloud that poisons creatures and can now deal some extra damage to them. And then we now move up to 10th level. Fungal implantation. Your symbiotic fungus grows stronger and more potent, granting you the ability to create thralls from your enemies. Whenever you kill a creature while raging, you can use a reaction to plant a fungal spore in its corpse. After 1d4 rounds, the spore grows into a fungal thrall under your control. The thrall uses the zombie statistics, except that it is immune to poison damage and has vulnerability to fire. On each of your turns, you can use a bonus action to mentally command any fungal thrall within 30 feet of you. If you issue no commands, the creatures defend themselves against hostile enemies. They remain under your control for a number of hours equal to your Constitution modifier, or until they're reduced to 0 hit points, after which the spore within them dies and the thrall ceases to function. At any one time, you can have a number of fungal thralls equal to your proficiency bonus. So this is very much similar to the fungal thrall ability at 10th level I had before. The difference now is that it's worded a lot cleaner, whereas here it was just bonus action to raise a creature as a thrall. It's under your control, and it's under your control for, you know, this amount of hours, and you can have this many. I was kind of basing it off the animate dead spell, but I realized I needed to put in some like basic things. How can you control them? How far is the range? What happens if you don't command them? What happens if they're reduced to 0 hit points? You know, stuff like that. Those are all things that I didn't take into consideration that my friend pointed out, because as somebody who analyzes that stuff more thoroughly, I was very appreciative of like pretty much calling me out on that, because he's like, you know, there's no rules here in this original one. And so now we have our thralls. So we have our armor, we have our cloud burst, we have our fungal thralls. Now fungal proliferation. Your symbiotic fungus reaches its full potential, granting you the ability to spread it to other creatures. As an action, you can release a cloud of fungal spores in a 30-foot radius around you. All creatures in that area must make a Constitution saving throw against your spore save DC, taking 4d6 poison damage on a failed save, half as much on a success, and becoming infected for a minute. And while infected, the creature takes an additional 2d6 poison damage whenever it takes damage from you, and its movement is reduced by half. You can use this once per long rest. I did have a note over in my over where I keep my stuff. I had thought about adding to this that something along the lines of, when an infected creature is reduced to 0 hit points by this damage, you may immediately raise them as a fungal thrall. Yeah. We'll say if an infected creature is reduced to 0 hit points by this damage, you may immediately raise them. I guess raise? Yeah. As a fungal thrall. I like that because it's kind of this, like, you know, big explosion. I'm gonna hurt you guys a lot, and now if I killed you with this, I can bring you up, and it's still gonna follow under the, you know, under this rule. You can only ever have so many equal to your proficiency bonus, so you know you can rise up a couple. So let's go ahead and add that down here. There we go. All right, so yeah, that's the basic design. So it's this idea of a barbarian having a fungal entity within them that is getting stronger with them and is looking to spread these spores out, and really focusing on that damage output, just being this very violent, poisonous entity that's kind of moving through the world, spreading this, spreading this infestation. So with that though, you know, as we look over here on the right, you can see this isn't formatted very well. So what we need to do is we need to come down here. We need to put in a column break. There we go. And that'll move fungal proliferation over to the other side. And I guess we can look up some art. See if I can find we'll bring it up over here. Let's do D&D. Bada bing. Well, let's look up D&D cordyceps. Oh, that's somebody's drawing, but that's pretty sick. Oh, look at that. Nope, that's fucking sick. Oh, I love that art. All right, how did I get to that? So I clicked this and then there it was. All right. Cool. Oh, that's just straight up from The Last of Us. Awesome. So we're gonna copy this. Actually, we don't. We'll copy this. We'll go up in here. So if you ever want to add an image on GM Binder, you simply have to click that little magic wand up there. Go down to image. Oh, actually, let's make sure we're at the very, very, very bottom. Image, insert, and then the source is going to be our URL. And what we want to do is we actually want to make sure that it is sitting straight. I'm going to bring up one of my things here. I have a piece of code. There we go. And then what we'll do is we will move this up. So there's that. And then, you know what? Actually, let's move it up a little bit. You know what? No, let's put it back to where it was. We'll do 125. That looks good. I want to say there is a way to flip it. And I can't remember. Welcome back, Zingy. I want to say there's a way to flip it, and I can't remember. Shoot. Is it? Okay, so is it transform? And then flip? No, it's not. No, that's. Oh shit. I know I could rotate it with that. I can't think for the life of me remember how to flip one. Here we go. I think I might have found it. Oh yeah. This is it. Transform scale. There we go. I kind of want it like pointing to the left. So there we go. That looks good. And then I think I can also. I don't think I actually would want to do anything else to it. I think that looks all right. I got a cow skin coaster. Nice. Wait, let's actually, no, don't want to make that big. So we're gonna make this 305. No, we'll make it 400. Okay, that's what I messed up. There we go. And we need to put one in that is going to be left, I think, 20 pixels. Nope, right. And we'll move it down just a hair. Say that. No, we need to go more. Do 50. I think that's good. Yeah, we'll do 50. There we go. Move it down a little bit. And then we'll do here, we're going to do art credit. Gotta finish my notes. I'm actually running a session on Friday, and I don't know how long we'll play for. Ah, good luck, my buddy. Good luck. All right, so this was from the Last of Us wiki. So that's what we are going to do. The Last of Us. I don't know if it has any other information with it. Floater concept art. I don't know. I guess that's just it. And then we're gonna give this a style. There we are. So I want to write all my capital locations and do the start of the heist, so they'll have... okay, I want to write all my capital locations and do the start of the heist. Nice. Yeah. Good luck, man. I would love to do a heist at some point. It's a lot of planning. A lot of planning to do. All right. You know what? I'm going to move this up just a bit. 50. Nope. We're going to go. We're going to go 70. Yeah, that's fine. And then we'll change this width to 380. Make it not as big. There. Well, I have the whole castle thing that they'll complete. That's honestly, yeah. I mean, hey, you can, as long as you can vamp and as long as you can improvise, only prepare what you absolutely think that they'll get through. So it's always a good option. Oh, look at this. See, this is kind of the idea that I had for this subclass. Like, this looks like a Kenku or an Aarakocra that would have this, you know, that would have this infection. Like, this is, 2-minute tabletop even has like a thing for it for a fungal zombie. But like, this is the idea that I had. Like, imagine an elf with, you know, cordyceps coming out of their head, just coming at you. Oh man, I would love this. All right, so yep, like I said, this is just I'm probably gonna share this out eventually, but you know, for right now, it's probably just gonna be local to my whatchamacallit, to my Discord. So we're gonna get this saved, and then I will post this over in the Discord. So if anybody wants to take a look at that, you have that available for you. And I'm gonna do one other thing that I always do with this, and that is PDF to PNG. So we're going to get an image file of this as well. Interesting. Those images you're sharing now puts in my head a bit better than the ones. Yeah, like I said, these are you know, these are definitely they definitely have like a very evocative sense to them. There we go. There's the image. Everyone, yeah, like Zingy said, if you're watching this, there's a link above me. You can also click the buttons below on in the About tab to join the Discord. I have a bunch of stuff listed over there. There's an entire archives channel that has a lot of free books, a lot of adventures, books, maps, tokens, plus some really good people over there. So that's another big thing. But yeah, if you are curious to see more of this Barbarian Path of the Cordyceps or anything else that folks are sharing, as was brought up last episode, we talked about the otherworldly patron, the Gym Bro, a resident of the channel, Bibble, posted this really cool pseudomato, which is a pseudo tomato. It's a little, inanimate, or I guess animated tomato that can launch itself. So if you are into homebrew, if you're into D&D stuff in general, definitely join the Discord. There's always something going on over there. And as potentially next week's, as one of the questions that was asked for this week, how long do I have to pester my DM to make a custom Undead Circus Ringleader Bard subclass? Maybe you'll see that next week. So, but yeah, so there we go. We got the Barbarian Path of the Cordyceps. I think it's turned out a little bit better than I expected. So, Jared, the look. It's like I feel eyes burning through the screen. Maybe we'll, like I said, maybe we'll see something like that next week. All right, but I am going to move on to what we've been doing over the past few weeks here on the Monday night streams, and we're going to be answering some questions from the community and from the D&D or the DM Academy. So got some questions to answer. If you have questions yourself, feel free to ask them in the chat. As always, I'm more than happy to answer them. If you do join the Discord, there's a DM advice corner over there that you can ask questions, and anyone who wishes to offer advice can offer it. So might go watch Yellow Jackets. Oh yeah, dude, do your thing, buddy. We'll see you in a bit. All right, so the first question that was asked is actually one that that Stacy posed from, I believe, someone she saw online. Make that a D&D. Isn't that the show that follows doesn't it follow like a group of women, part survival epic, part psychological horror story of Wilderly Tale? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've heard of it. Definitely not my thing. Yeah. Hey man, enjoy yourself. If I ran a campaign in one of the other Discords I'm in, one where my friends are at, one of the guys in there said that he would love to play in a Spelljammer game. So, but yeah, it's girls that go down a plane crash, they go crazy and start. Nice, yeah. Well, hey, yeah, enjoy yourself, man. Let us know how it is. All right, so one of the questions that was asked was from Stacy, but this was found online, I believe. So it says, so I've created I have a character of the noble background from a very affluent family. His family name carries a great deal of weight, and they could throw money at every problem and still never be short on funds. But obviously, I don't want him as a PC to just have limitless funds. Trying to figure out how to make it story-wise that he can have the high-class background, but still make sense that he isn't sitting on a stupid amount of coin, and not including the cut from his family funds idea, because I've already done that. So when I read this, immediately, like, my first thought was oh, you have been cut. So I think that's one of the easier ones to go with, and I think it's a very succinct one to roll with. But obviously there are potentially other options that can be explored. So when I read this, I started trying to come up with a couple of things. So one of the ones, do less money for favor with the noble name and make it semi-limited. Yeah, so that's actually something that's actually kind of in line with one of the ones that I had, was that the family's wealth isn't liquid, but it's in land, property, and investments. You can do that with favors as well. So your family has value, and they're very influential. They like it says, the name carries a lot of weight. But maybe it's talked about they have all this wealth, they have all this money, but really it's because they own land, they own properties, they have investments in stuff. So there's all these things that they kind of spread their money around, but there's really no coin just laying around to go out and live this affluent lifestyle. You could actually work with the DM to maybe build into your character's story something that your player finds out as you go along, that maybe your family recently, unbeknownst to you, underwent a crisis and lost all of their money, or even just almost all of their money. Maybe you start playing this character as somebody who is like, oh, what's that? You guys are being attacked by manticores, or you're being attacked by wolves at night. Well, that's fine. Just put up some barbed wire fence, hire some guards. The town's going to be like, well, we don't have the money for that. It's like, I have the money. Hold on. And like, they spend out of their pocket maybe to help. And then eventually they start running low. So they reach out to their family. They send a missive. And they get back something that says, we're sorry, we can't send you any money. And so you maybe have these messages coming back and forth for a little bit. Eventually, the parents revealing that maybe an investment went bad. Maybe properties and land were seized. Maybe the money was stolen. Maybe they kept their money in some kind of crypt or somewhere secret, and it was broken into. Maybe a dragon came by and literally stole it, and that can become a plot development. Because any one of those options, money being stolen, land being seized, a dragon taking it just being robbed by anybody, that can all just be leading into adventure. That can be like a story plot for the party, because, hey, if we go help my family, maybe we can get some money out of this. Have it build into something like that. Couldn't the family be the one funding or paying the adventures to do the quest line, but the one character... well, okay, so that's another one. You could be, it could be that, the parents wanted their kid to be, a delegate or a diplomat or something like that, but they yearned for the life of adventure. So maybe the family is paying the adventurers to go on some kind of quest or some kind of mission, and this character is joining them. That is definitely an option to go with. Now, again, with that, you would still have to, that essentially is kind of calling back to, why wouldn't that character just have access to the family's money? And that could be like, oh, well, you went off in an adventure. Well, we're not just going to keep paying you, and we're not going to fund this even more. Maybe they give out that little bit of funding, but that's it. And they have to kind of learn to, earn their own way. That kind of goes back on that cut off from the family funds in a very small sense. In the same realm of that, though, I did write down a note that was, you had siblings. So, and you were one of the younger ones. So, your parents had their heir and you were their spare. you know. So it's like your brother, your older brother, your older sister, they're the child that the family spends the money on. They're the ones that gets access to all the riches and the wealth and the fame and fortune. You are a noble, you have a noble name, but you don't have access to the family funds, much like your brother does. So something like that could play into it, where maybe you never did have access to the family funds. It's not even like being cut off. You're not allowed, like, it is cut off, but it's always been that way. You've never just had the money to do that. Your older brother, on the other hand, did, you know, he was the heir kind of a thing. Yeah, Prince Harry being the spare. So another one that I came up with, that I think doesn't really rely on you not having access to your family money because you are cut off, but literally you don't have access to it. This is an option where potentially you're from a noble family, you know, somebody that has credit throughout the world, but maybe you're in a foreign land. Maybe your family comes from, you know, the middle of Faerun, and you have traveled to the Sword Coast to like really make a name for yourself, find a place to establish out there, and really, you know, bring some honor to your family. But you can't travel with hundreds of thousands of gold, or, you know, even tens of thousands of gold. Gold is very heavy, and you can't just travel down the road with, you know, this huge fortune and go on these adventures and do this stuff. But literally it's just like, yeah, I have a lot of money, my family's rich, but they're about a month and a half's travel by even the fastest horse. So I don't have money. So I'm sorry, I have to earn my living. But have it be like, oh, it's, you know, I've heard of your family. They own property in the Evermores, or, you know, didn't they donate a lot? Don't they have a wing named after them in one of the libraries of Silvery Moon? Isn't this place, you know, isn't this something that your family did? So could access. So I would say the feasibility of accessing money should just be like almost zero. You know, as the kind of DM that I am, I oftentimes have more high magic, you know, loose magic put into my games. So there could be like a dimension door teleporting bank system to move money around, much like the Banks of Holding that I came up with, that could exist within the world, that would make it super easy to do that. But if you limit that, if you make it so that, you know, like, you can't just teleport money, you kind of have to go on your own merits and whatnot. Or another thing that can go in line with this is that not only do you not have money, you don't have access to your family's money, but maybe your family's name doesn't carry as great or as positive an impact in these lands. Maybe you have a notable family, but maybe out in the lands that you're in now, they're not really it's not the most positive effect to mention that you're a part of this family. So even in that, it, like, you might not be able to access your money because if somebody finds out that, you know, this family's money is moving through these lands, you might have some people coming after it. So like I said, I have a couple options. I kind of wrote them down here on the side, but yeah, these are what I would lean towards. So they were the heir, you were the spare. So that's about having an older sibling or somebody within the family that is actually getting that. There's the basic one, you know, you need to prove your worth to access the family fortune. That's, you know, the cutoff from the family funds. You're from a distant house trying to raise the status of your family's name in a foreign land. You don't have a reasonable means to access your family's money, so you have whatever you can earn, or yeah, so you only have whatever you can earn. And then unbeknownst to you, your family recently underwent a crisis and lost almost all their fortune. And finally, the family's wealth isn't liquid, but in lands, properties, and investment, so there's no coin laying around to squander. These would be like the top ones that I would really roll with. Just because to me, they are easy enough to really dig into a campaign, but there's nothing there that's super groundbreaking. Like you're not really like having to change anything super crazy. I mean, this one is probably the most reasonable, but it does require you to be from a far away land, or at least somewhere where it's not easily accessible to get your money. Again, this one though, this could just be something you work with your DM about. Like your character doesn't even know that your family lost a lot of money, so you're finding it out at the same time. All right, so the next question I posted a couple weeks ago about my session 1. The PC started as normal human teachers that fall into a portal and transform into the fantasy characters my players created. So this is called an isekai. If you're not sure what an isekai is, go look it up. It's basically a Japanese style of storytelling that literally translates to Otherworld, where somebody is teleported into the world and goes on adventures. That time I got reincarnated as a slime and shield hero is literally two perfect examples of this. This character, oh yeah, that's right, the fucking truck. It's always a truck too. Yeah, the isekai truck. That literally, that time I got isekai'd into another world with my truck. Oh my god, yeah. It's always a fucking truck. It's some delivery truck that just fucking isekais people. Isekai delivery service. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, so isekai, like I said, it literally translates to other world in Japanese. But it's really any story where the main character is just a normal dude and is teleported into another world where they then gain superpowers or something like that, except slime. Yeah, so yeah, that time I got reincarnated as slime, he got stabbed. I feel like that, as far as I know, there's not an English term, because isekai is kind of the term. So it's the same as saying, you know, like manga instead of saying Japanese comic book, or, you know, I don't know, like it's kind of that same idea. You know what, I'll say it, I mean, hey, TOS, but it's like saying hentai. You know what it is, but you know, you just know it. Anime, right? So that's it. It's, you know, so if I get hit by a truck, I'll be sent to an anime with lots of anime babes. Yeah, buddy, that's it. You'll just be like Shield Hero, teleported into a game, or you'll be like the Slime Hero. So, or literally any isekai. Again, it's such, Sword Art Online is technically an isekai. Konosuba, yeah. Shit, what's the other one I'm thinking of? Jared, what's the one where the guy's teleported into the game and he's like the devil? He's like the Skull Lord. It's just Overlord, right? Overlord, yeah. So That's, yeah, stuff like this where you're teleported into the world and you become somebody within it. So but yeah, that's, like I said, that's the term isekai, is just really anything where somebody is either killed or teleported from one world and thrown into another. So back on track though, a couple weeks ago, the PCs got isekai'd, and they were originally, yeah, Sword Art Online technically. That's just more of a, you got put into a video game so deep. It's kind of like being isekai'd. So yeah, session 1, the players start as humans, teachers, and they're isekai'd into a fantasy world. For session 2, I would like to have some kind of mental effect that the players have to roll for. I mean, if you fell into a portal and suddenly had a new non-human body, your brain would explode, right? How can I honor this mind-meltingness? That's really weird. Mind-meltingness with a temporary mechanic in-game that can inspire some fun RP. Okay. Yeah, Shield Hero is actually great. Literally have any interactions that they do just be super awkward and unsettling for anybody. You know, let them just like culturally ostracize themselves and do shit that's weird that pisses everyone off. But in the end, you turn out to be the good people. My real answer though, and funny enough, like when you posted this, I read this and immediately just pulled this up. There is, in the DM's guide, in one of the first books put out, there is a variant mechanic called Madness. You can get this from a number of things. There's even one of the cards from the deck of many that gives you an effect of madness. Now, there are different tables. So for example, you have short-term madness, which lasts for up to 10 minutes. So for example, if you wanted this to be something that was just momentary, the moment that they landed, okay, everyone rolls on here. Coolio. So we got, okay, so this character is unconscious for 7 minutes. That's just immediately upon landing in this world. Let's just say we have 3 of these characters, because I don't want to make this, you know, super long. All right, so here we go. So for 7 minutes, the character becomes frightened and must use their action to flee away from the source of fear. So maybe this character is literally just freaking out. They are terrified of everything that's going on. They are losing their shit. Okay, they are frightened of the situation they're in. And the last one is that this character for 3 minutes is having weird, vivid hallucinations. So maybe these are like memories that are coming into them. Like they have their own thoughts and memories from their previous life, but maybe the characters that they're in that have some kind of existing backstory, maybe something within the world prior to their arrival, they have some innate connection to. Build that into the character themselves. Then you could have long-term madness. These are going to be things that can play over multiple hours. So, for example, this one, Jesus Christ, so for 100 hours, okay, so this is going to be almost 5 days. The character experiences uncontrollable tremors or tics, which impose disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saves that involve strength and dex. Okay, this is the character coming to grips with everything that happened. Maybe this is the one who was unconscious. When they fell, they hit their head. Now they're awake and they have this like twitch, or maybe their body seizes up in moments that they can't control. Let's roll for another one. So 55. So for 30 hours, so for the next day and a half, the character becomes attached to a lucky charm, such as a person or an object. Okay, if we base this off of the frightened character, maybe they have something. Okay, maybe they have an item from whatever when they got isekai'd in. Maybe it's a religious symbol, maybe it's a coin, a picture, maybe just something that they always carried with them. You know, around my desk I have little trinkets and doodads that, you know, I hold dear, but anytime that I'm out and about, I always have my car keys with me, and that has a D20 attached to it. So I'm always fidgeting with that in my pocket. So if I had a D20, that might become my lucky charm. That might be the thing that I need to hold on to, so that if I'm in this world, you might see me just kind of fiddling with it. And that's gonna at least be for the next 30 days or for the next 30 hours, but that could build into something more as a habit with that character, something that character is now kind of playing into a flaw almost, you know, where it becomes an indefinite one. Get isekai'd with a gun I grabbed from my car. Yeah, there you go. And then we'll do one more for the long term. So yeah, we do the roll first here. So, and then, so for 30 hours, so this is going to be for the one that had vivid hallucinations. This character regards something, usually the source of madness, with intense revulsion. Almost, or as if it was affected by the antipathy effect of antipathy sympathy. So if you don't know what that is, antipathy is that it causes the creatures of the kind you designate to feel intense urge to leave an area or avoid a target. So just pure revulsion. Okay, so this is the one who has the vivid hallucinations. So maybe they're having these horrific hallucinations of some grotesque creature. Maybe the thing that pulled them into this world, whatever this, you know, whatever this portal is, it possibly was put there by something. And maybe the players now have to stop whatever is doing that. Maybe there's other people being isekai'd into that world, and this one character is like hearing their laughter and they're just like disgusted by it. Maybe it's a dwarf, maybe it's a goblin, maybe it's a gnome, or one of the more fantasy based races, and now your character doesn't know who is in this world like that. Maybe it was a drow and they hear them snickering, so maybe now they regard the drow in a negative way, or maybe it's a gnome, again, something that you can play into with the story. And then finally, the D100 for the indefinite madness. So the character who fell unconscious and now has tics is, I'm convinced that powerful enemies are hunting me and their agents go everywhere I go. Actually, I'm going to say that this one is going to be better for the one that saw the hallucinations and regards something with intense revulsion. Okay? You think that whoever this is hunting you down and that they are watching you and you are paranoid. I keep whatever I find. Okay, this is the one who has the lucky charm. Okay, this is the one who got frightened, found that they had their D20 or something like that with them, and now they are collecting a little trove of trinkets. Anything they find, these little bits and bobs, they want them. They want those shiny little trinkets. Anything that really catches their eye, they're snagging it, good or bad. And what does the one who has the tics have? Achieving my goal is the only thing of interest to me, and I'll ignore anything. Okay, so maybe this one, he came to this world, he fell unconscious, has this tic, but that's really all that's happened. You know, he wasn't frightened. He isn't paranoid. Maybe this is the more sane one, and he's looking at his two friends, one who's paranoid that somebody's hunting him, somebody is chasing them down, and you have this other one who is now like so superstitious that they're literally like picking up any little trinket that they have. And this character, on the other hand, is like, we are going to get home. Anything that gets us closer to that is going to be what I do. If there's a kid in a tree, but there's a thing over there that gets me one step closer to my goal of getting us home, I'm leaving that kid in the tree. So something like this is something that can be used when you want to play a game where you have these mental effects that play on your characters. And you can go out and you can find whole lists of these. Like, this is just the one from the book. I even think I think the D&D wiki even has one. No, it doesn't. Here, is it Insanity? No, these are still the same. Wait, is it? Let's see. Is it this one? No, that's the same one. Yeah. But, you know, the thing is like, you can go online and you can find different tables. Here we go. Alternative madness. Yeah. So something like this. Okay. Alternative indefinite madness tables. All right. You can go out. You can find these things. You can find new long-term ones. You can find, you know, new short-term ones, or just come up with them. Like, if that's something that you and your players would like to do, use that. It would work. But, you know, something like this where you're just taking what is offered in the DMG and just really working it into the characters. Now, unfortunately, it seems like session 1 is the players got there. If session 2 is them, you know, is them trying to, you know, come up with something that happens after, I would say having it be, you know, the long term or the indefinite. I guess I'd be concerned about the DM ruling for them when it. Oh no, this is 100% something that I would have the players do. This is something that if I was prepping to do an isekai, this is something that I would work with the players on. I would have a session where the moment the characters landed in whatever world this is, which at one point we did, yeah. So that's it. Like, I had planned for an isekai campaign. This is actually the reason why I immediately went to this table. This is what I had in play. I was gonna have every single one of the players roll on the short-term, long-term, and indefinite madness, and we were gonna play into that. We were gonna have these things where, you know, these dudes from, you know, from Pittsburgh, PA, suddenly teleported into the icy grip of Icewind Dale, or the other world of Omera, and, you know, have them suddenly come to grips with, like, they're not in their home world. They're, you know, suddenly some of them have magical capabilities. So it was going to be one of these things that they had to come to grips with. So yeah, this is 100% what I would do. And like I said, you kind of want it to play and build into itself. So even rolling it might not necessarily be the best thing if you didn't want to do that. Maybe you just pick and choose. Okay, the character falls unconscious. The character hit their head. When they awake, they're blind and deaf. They fucked up something in their head that they are now 25% blind and mostly deaf for the next, you know, almost day. And then after that, let's see. Being drunk keeps me sane. You know what? I would honestly say something like this. You know, I find it hard to care about anything that goes on around me. Maybe it's because you can't. Maybe you have a hard time focusing now on what's going on around you. Or something that you can do is have the long-term madness play out for an even longer amount of time. Don't make this 1d10 times 10 hours. Make this days. Okay, you have 10 days where you're partially deaf and blind, where you're experiencing vivid hallucinations. You know, extend this out to fit the campaign and what you want out of it. You know, have it be something that you can work with. But yeah, I mean, 100%. If you know, my answer to this one would just be simply use the madness tables that are in the DM's guide. It's there for a reason. And yes, like you said, unfortunately a lot of people don't know what's in the DM's guide. That's actually just a really sad truth, because most people don't read the DM's guide. Like, there are mechanics in here that, you know, they're optional rules that you don't always know what you're doing. So, oh yeah, here's a great one. Proficiency dice. Instead of using proficiency bonuses, you add an extra die to your stuff. But yeah, stuff like this, optional rules, and especially things in Xanathar's guide. Xanathar's guide has a lot of cool stuff in here that's just, you know, different things to consider. Oh yeah, we gotta answer this one. How long do I have to pester? At least 3 weeks. There you go. At least 3 weeks. All right, so moving on to the questions that I pulled up on the first time DM list. Is it daily for 3 weeks? You better not. So these are the questions that I find on the DM Academy subreddit. So if you're interested, there is the link for that. There is a mega thread that's reposted every week that is first time DM and other short questions. So I like answering these because I think they have a lot of variety with them. So we're gonna answer a couple of these. Ooh, gotta move one of my windows around. There we go. So the first one that I have here is, how many times should a big bad, a BBEG, a big bad evil guy, show up during the campaign? So when I read this, I first kind of had the thought of, like, you know, it doesn't matter, but, you know, how many times you have them show up. But I really think, in my opinion, it's whatever suits your campaign, really. One of the things to consider about big bads, sometimes a big bad is just somebody who shows up in the beginning, is the main antagonist, and you never see them again until the end, but they're always there on the periphery. They're always there, sending in their henchmen, their minions, or their influence is felt across the land. Maybe it's an evil king, maybe it's some cult leader, maybe it's a dragon, something like that. Okay, whatever you have as your big bad, if it is a singular figure, you kind of have a few options. You could have them show up once in the beginning and then never seen again until the very end. You could have them show up in the beginning and then, you know, kind of stomp the players, or not even, just throw some minions at them, you know, Rita Revolta style from Power Rangers. Just, you know, throw some putties at the Rangers and be on your way. And then you could have them show up somewhere in the middle. Okay, your players are level 5 or 6 now. They've done a few quests. They've proven themselves to be capable heroes. And then all of a sudden, this schmuck shows up, stomps the players and wipes the floor with them, and doesn't kill them, but just, you're not worth my time. Throws a few minions just to wipe them up and move on. And then they show up in the end. It's an ally who made you think the good guy was the bad guy, then get the magic item take. Yeah, that's another thing. Literally, hey, now we don't talk about Azazel like that. He was a good boy. He was, we didn't know, okay? We didn't know that the Church of the Light was bad. All right, yeah. Azazel didn't do good. He's up there. He's up there being yelled at by the DM right above the screen. So he's learned his lessons. All religion. All religion is bad. So yeah, you can have the big bad be an ally, somebody within the party. That's an option. Now, I definitely that's not even how you spell Pelor, buddy. It's Pel. Pelor. So the one thing that I would say about it being a member of the party is, one, you need to work with your player on that from the very beginning, the absolute very beginning. If you don't, you're going to blindside your character. Otherwise, it's just not going to make sense. Another thing you don't want to do is steal the autonomy from your character in regards to making that choice. Have your character over time possibly turn to the evil, turn to darkness, and to the big bad. That's one thing, but make sure that it's not just thrown onto a character, because that sucks. But again, if you want to have someone in your party, you can do that, and there's obviously a round. Now, the other aspect of this is, with how many times should a big bad show up, sometimes you don't have a singular big bad. Sometimes you don't have one singular entity that you can toss all of your ire onto throughout a campaign. Maybe it changes. For example, in the Phandalin 5 game, the very first big bad was the dragon Cryovane. That was a thing. So that continued on, but then, partially through that, during the stuff revolving around Zash's family, the big bad in that portion became the Necromancer. Now that the party has killed Cryovane, the big bad is now more generally the Cult of Tiamat. But there's different ones, there's different leaders in that. Obviously, in that game, the players know about the Cult of Talos. They know about the Cult of Tiamat. And on top of all that, at one point, they fought a bunch of zombies outside of an inn with the symbol of Merkel, the god of death, carved into the skulls of a bunch of undead creatures. So, is there a death cult that is playing into it? The players don't know that. I don't know that. But that's the thing. It could be a cult. It could be any organization within the world. Maybe it's a noble family, okay? And there's not just one particular big bad, but it's like the whole thing. If you have an entire family known as like the, what's the one from Critical Role? I can't think of it. I can't think of what that one is, but here, I'll look one up. I'll look up random. Okay. Mossguard. Okay, there it is. So there's the name of our of our noble family, the Mossguards. They're a noble family. They have a lot of power and influence, but they are doing some evil shit. Okay, and that's who your party's going against. There's Lord Mossguard, there's Lady Mossguard. They have like 5 kids. They're all involved in different aspects. There's not just any one of them you have to deal with, it's a whole family. So something like that is, it depends on how often you see them. They could show up more often or less often. So again, I really think it just depends on your family. I mean, your campaign. But like I said before, a good option could be to introduce them early in the campaign, have them instill fear, just by their name or their appearance, have them show up. You can even have them just like off screen somewhere where it's like they hear the name of this person or there's like some word about them somewhere, and then have them show up in the final confrontation. All right. So the next question, I'm a first-time DM and looking for an economical, cheap, but not pirating way to get a copy of the core rulebooks for D&D. I'm not ready to shell out almost $50 a book right now. Any suggestions? I've looked at Goodwill, Half-Price Books, Facebook Marketplace, etc. Honestly, if you are looking for physical books, yeah, Facebook, eBay, Craigslist, Goodwill, like swap sites, stuff like that. Those are really your best options. If you're like me, you're already looking at the screen that I'm going to recommend right there, 5e.tools. That's the particular website that I use, 5e.tools. It's well, I guess I'm using 5e Tools Mirror GitHub, but regardless, if you want to use the one that has ads, there you go. But yeah, that's a simple recommendation. I used to play a campaign where me and one other guy were the big bads and the other group played as the hero group, and what we did affected each other's campaign. Yeah, that's the P5 campaign. we got a mini campaign going on inside of a larger campaign, and there's some crossover between them at all times. All right. Okay, so the next question, because that was an easy one. Like I said, if you are looking to get physical books, libraries, Goodwill, donation sites, and then if you're looking online, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, eBay, they're out there. Get digital books if you can, if you have to. But like I said, 5e.tools is where I get is where I do all my stuff, so I don't have any issues with that. It has all the books you need. All right, so I'm doing an in-person session for my online group in a month, and I'm making it an exciting Coliseum invitation from the Lord of Neverwinter. What are some events that would take place? I was thinking group versus group action and survivors take all, or maybe a maze, or I don't know. The movie was a big inspiration, of course, and I don't want to totally rip it off. Yeah, I would say if you were doing this, you could do a maze. That would totally work. It's simple. You throw some monsters in there, throw some traps, throw some items, and the players, if you survive, you survive. That's totally an option to do. But the two things that I would highly recommend, put in some kind of combat. Yeah, just rip off the movie. That's right. Do a maze. So I would say, if you wanted to do combat, you could just do straight up gladiatorial combat. That's an option. But as a recommendation, something like this, the Cube of Chaos, is a great thing that you could use for something like this. So for those that don't know, the Cube of Chaos is a small little one-page thing that has a handful of things that you can roll randomly on. It's all supposed to be random. It's all supposed to be kind of built into chaos. And the idea is that as you are setting this up, part of my route entry, I just don't have the time. Chat with your guards, though I would say you should hire better ones. Quite easy to see past. Well, thank you, Nerdy. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, that totally works. How you doing? Oh, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, so if you are planning on doing a Coliseum kind of event within your campaign, something like the Cube of Chaos is a great resource. You can find this. There's a Reddit page for it. So I know I just looked it up, but I'm gonna have to pull it back up. So somebody made this a while back, a few years ago on Reddit. So I'm going to link this out. But what this is you roll some dice to figure out how the layouts of the room are going to be, and then you just throw your players into it. So, like it says, upon the player's entrance into the cube, roll 2d4 plus 2. So, 2d4 plus 2. So, 8 rooms. Okay. That is going to be how many rooms need to be completed. As for the opponents, you roll a d20. So let's say the first room is going to be 8 fire snakes. Okay. So let's scroll down. What do we got for, we'll do the room layout next. So we got a d6. Okay, so this is going to be our room layout down here on the bottom right. So as you can tell, this is obviously based off of a 6-sided die. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now those red squares on there, we need to find out what those hazard spaces are going to be. And with that, we need to roll a d10. 9. Okay, so we now have these hazard zones down in this bottom right corner that look like a couple T's and some I's. The hazard zones become covered in thick webbing as per the web spell. And finally, the victory condition, 1d4, is going to be a number of arcane circles equal to 1 less than the total number of players appear on the floor in a non-hazard zone. In order to continue, each circle must be inhabited by a different player on initiative count 20. So you populate this with a couple squares, you throw in some fire snakes, and there's the chaos. Something like this is a really great use of, you know, a very simple roll table to develop a different experience every single time. The hazard zones can be wind, they can be lava, they can be anti-magic. You can have it being a young blue dragon or a handful of ankh-eggs or some lions. You can even just roll on your own tables for a lot of stuff like this. But regardless, if you're doing a Colosseum, you could have this just be the layout, kind of like in the D&D movie where it has those 5-foot sections that raise and lower. You could have these do that and have it create these areas. So this is my first one, you know, a combat in a magically shifting arena that has a variety of random elements. My second recommendation of doing a Colosseum invitation event is chariot racing. When you think of old Roman Colosseums, a lot of times they had chariot racing. So that in itself is going to be fairly straightforward. Get onto some horses, ride them around an arena. But that's kind of boring. You have to jazz it up a little bit. So with that, I turn you to the Tomb of Annihilation, a D&D adventure that has that takes place in the land of Chult, where dinosaurs exist. And specifically, what I am referring to, I don't think chariot racing would fit in my role. Japan, to my knowledge, didn't have it. But you can really change it to whatever you want. So I say chariot racing if you're doing like a Roman Colosseum kind of thing, but what we're gonna search for in here is dinosaur races. There we go. So you want your characters to have a chance to bet on some good old-fashioned chariot racings or maybe partake in it? Well, here you go. You can just change these to whatever your setting would be. If you're doing something where it's more standard Faerun, you could have these be different breeds of horses instead of having them be dinosaurs. If you are allowing it to pull from those other resources like Chult, have them be dinosaurs. I mean, the Lord of Neverwinter is inviting people to come to this Coliseum to yell and shout about, you know, anything that they're talking about. And what's going to draw a crowd? Watching somebody race on the back of a young T-Rex. Okay. But if you're running this in something that's based in Japan, just realistically change these to vehicles of some kind. If it's modern Japan, have them be cars, have them be have them be motorcycles, have them be really anything you need. If it's more of a ancient Japan, again, you could have them really be whatever you want, whatever kind of modes of transportation or any kind of animals that fit within your world. I'm currently working on my world calendar. Are you trying to develop the calendar all on your own? I'm curious. Because I might have a tool to help you. Not alone, but I'm using traditional Japanese stuff and some original. Okay, so if I can give you a little bit of, if I can give you a tool that might be able to help you, I'm gonna send a link here. So appfantasycalendar.com. I'm gonna put it up on my screen here. So this is a website where you can go and actually make calendars for your D&D games. You can choose presets. They have, like, you know, the Gregorian calendar is the one we use here in real life. The Exandrian calendar, if you want the one from Critical Role. The one from Eberron, so if you want the calendar of Galifar. And then there's, you know, the Greyhawk and the Barovian one, but the one that I personally use, the one that's common to Faerun, is the calendar of Harpdos. But you can make a calendar on here. You can make a calendar on this website, and you can add anything you really want with it. So if you are wanting to make one that has like so many months, here, we'll so we got to do names. So we're going to do, we'll do test calendar. We need at least 1 week. So our weekdays, we're going to call them 1 day. And we'll have 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, and 6 day. We're gonna have a 6-day calendar. Ooh. Ooh. Now, I mean, for my D&D character, not me planning to DM anything. Oh yeah. Okay. But yeah, like I said, if you are interested in trying to come up with one, like I said, this app or this website, I use this for every single one of the campaigns that I run. You know, everything that goes on in my campaigns, I have it tracked on this, and you can do it by the hour even. So for example, my players just arrived at this pirate ship and this dreadnought, and that's taking place at pretty much midnight, so I can keep track of that stuff as I go along. My other group that plays out at my local library, you know, we're only about 6 days into that campaign, so you know, that's something to keep in mind, is you can use this to track your own campaigns. But yeah, definitely, if you need that tool, it's there for you. Wait, what did you just show? I showed I showed the P5 calendar. This one, there's nothing on here that you guys don't know about. You guys already knew the Black Dragon attack on Phandalin. Yoroko Mayumi Mikazuki is a character who lives in my world, but is transporting into my DM's. Oh. There is a change the players can come to my world, so I need to wear. Ah, I see. There's a chance the player. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, if you get any, if you can get use out of this website, like I said, it makes it a little bit easier just to kind of like format everything, because it kind of walks you through setting up, how many days of the week do you want, what are your months called, stuff like that. So something about midnight. I said that in P5 it's almost midnight. You guys woke up in the morning, traveled, fought some wyverns, rested at a tavern for a little bit, and then headed out to go rescue Tarbin Tool, and spent about 5 hours trekking through the forest until you reach the coast, at which point it's about midnight in the P5 game. So that's why I said the moon was high above, because it was the full moon fading. Because I put my cursor over this and I saw full moon, and I said full moon, but then I forgot that it was full moon took place these days. So yeah. Like I said, back to what I was saying. As for a chariot event, or in a Coliseum, you could do a chariot event, and like I said, it's pretty simple. The way that they have it here in Tomb of Annihilation is very straightforward. So you have these different stat blocks. My calendar has 72 micro seasons, 24 solar terms, 3 sets of 5 days. About 6 of the sets have 16 days, not 15. Wow. Yeah, good luck with that, Sakura. I wish you the best. Wow. 72 micro seasons. This is how traditional Japan track time. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I wish you the best, because that's pretty intense. At this point I'm so used to I'm so used to the calendar of Harptos that it's not even funny. Like this is literally a calendar I could live by my own life. 10 days in a week, 3 weeks in a month. What is it? It's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 11. It's 12. It's 12 months. 1 2 3 4 5, 8 9 10 11. 12 months, but then there's an extra day every 3 months, and then there's 2 extra days in the middle of the year. Every 6, or every year there's that added day of shields met. I have set up the 24 Seki as the months. Nice. Yeah, like I say, if you get use out of it, I always love sharing tools like this. So I've been using this particular website since I started running my campaign about 2 years ago. So, and the nice thing is you can even have weather on there. You can have weather, you can have moon phases and all that stuff. So yeah, if it helps, it helps. But yeah, so like I said, back to this. So basically the way that this works, I'm going to pull this up on both sides just to make life a little bit easier to see on here. So we're going to scroll down to about here. Here we go. So these are the different dinosaurs that we have. And obviously, like I said, you can change these to anything. It's far more helpful. Oh, that's good to know. It's good to know. So basically, the way that racing works in Tomb of Annihilation is basically a race is 300 feet. It's not really like a physical thing that you have to look out on a map, but every round, a rider makes an animal handling check based off of this column right here. And if you succeed, you get to tack on the first number to your tally. Once you hit 300, you've crossed the finish line. Now, if you fail your animal handling check, you don't get to add anything. But you can also try to lash the dinosaur, making them go faster, and you make the animal handling check with advantage. But then the animal has to make a dex or a constitution check with this number down here to not have their speed reduced in half for the rest of the race. So, you know, you lash that animal beneath you, you get this higher number, but now they have to see if they're gonna actually, you know, not get hurt from that. They have the AC, hit points, and attacks in here just in case you do want to run it where there can be attacks between creatures as you're racing it. But you know, that is something that you can do. So like I said, to at least this person who's out there asking for some Coliseum options, like I said, a maze works, combat that magically in a magically shifting arena, and a racing event. All right. Ooh. I'm gonna have to make 70. Oh, I guess you could do that on there. I know that it I think you can do that on there. Oh, I give you credit. It's a lot of work, more work than I would put into it. I went calendar of Harptos, and that was it. All right, so next question we have for tonight is about resistance from creatures. Some creatures, like the will-o-wisp, so we'll pull up the will-o-wisp here. There we go. So some creatures like the will-o-wisp have resistance listed like acid, cold, fire, necrotic, and thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. Now they're referring to the semicolon that's used to separate these 5 from these 3. So it said on here, I'm confused because the semicolon between thunder and bludgeoning. Does this mean the creature has resistance to cold, necrotic, etc., even against magic damage? So this is actually pretty simple, in my opinion. So the semicolon just separates 2 categories. So the acid, cold, fire, necrotic, and thunder are resisted regardless of the source. So, you know, magical or not. Somebody hits you with a lightning sword that deals 1d6 lightning and 1d6 slashing, you resist the lightning damage from that. I mean, you resist the thunder damage from that. So that would be resistance from any source regardless, or if you were just struck by lightning, you have resistance to that. But bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks, so you resist mundane weapons. So somebody just hits you with a club, okay, yeah, you can resist that a little bit. You know, you only take half that damage. But if somebody is coming at you with a magic longsword, you're taking all that damage. So that's just straight up. And so magic weapons will still deal you damage. So the semicolon just separates the 2 categories. All right. So the next question, how to do fight scenes. I ran a game for my girlfriend as my first session, and we came across an enemy. According to the chart of the enemy in the rulebook, it only has 2 moves. So the fight got boring rather quickly. How do I make fight scenes more interesting? I have one main suggestion for this, and that is to be a narrator for the monsters. D&D is comprised of 3 core segments: combat, social, and exploration. Social encounters is, it's your words in an encounter. That's the role play aspect. You're talking to an NPC, you're making persuasion checks or intimidation checks. That is a core mechanic to social encounters. Exploration is using your mechanics and role playing while you're out exploring. The rogue choosing to go off and kind of explore around the elven ruins, that's role play. They're playing into their character. They come across a painting on a wall that's hung above an urn. They want to steal that and they're gonna take it, but that might cause some issues. But that's still role playing. Combat should not take out what's going on, Kat. Thank you so much for the follow. Combat should not stop your role play. Combat should just be another aspect that you role play into. So as a DM, it is your responsibility to really drive that home with your characters. With your players. Give them an example to go by. I'm playing a Mass Effect 5e campaign, and currently it feels like 95% combat and 5% RP. My character has made more RP focus and less combat. I feel like okay, this is a perfect example, okay? If you're playing in a very combat heavy campaign, you should find ways while role playing while fighting to play up your character style, to really role play into them. I've not even rolled a single stat of that. Kind of sucks. The right group is also important for, yes, that is 100% true. If everyone in the party is very much just like, okay, it's, video game style, like, I roll my dice, here's my damage, do I kill the thing? You are gonna have you might have a harder time eliciting that from those other players and from your party. Or if you're a player, you might not get as much reciprocation from other players. But something that I as a DM love to do is really narrate monsters when they are attacking. So if the party was fighting, say, a bugbear, don't just have it be, okay, the bugbear swings his morning star at the paladin. All right, so, a 16 hits your AC of 15. He does 14 damage. All right, it's your turn. Instead, you should, instead, what you should be doing is eliciting those emotions from your players. The bugbear snarls and bares his teeth. He grips his morning star tight, rushes the fighter, hefting his sword over his head and then slamming it down into you. This is the point where you roll that dice. It hits. You feel the weight of his morning star bring down your shoulder, and it feels like it's about to pop out of its socket. As he pulls back the morning star from your crumpled pauldron, he smiles at you with this bloody, toothy grin. Something like that is a lot more evocative than simply just, okay, a 16 hits your AC and you take 14 damage. Make it something that is enticing. Give your players something to really sink their teeth into, and that will sometimes allow them to feel more comfortable to describe how their character is doing it. Instead of just, I cast fireball here, it's, have it be something where I see the enemies grouping up and I begin to enchant or begin to speak some incantations into my book as you see a bolt of fire shoot forward, hit and land in between all of them, creating this massive ball of fire. It's short, it's sweet, and it's to the point, and it gets the scene across. My DM is sick of my roleplay. You're just built very weird. I felt like I gave my DM a great source to which he to use, which is my Rogue's Fear of the Dark. We had 7 sessions and no dark encounters. That is kind of rough. Unfortunately, that does happen, where especially if your DM already has a lot of things planned out. But you know what? Easy enough. Just talk to them. That's one thing that I'll give you the recommendation of, sit down with them and, say, or sit down with them, I guess. I don't know, if it's a man or woman, but, sit down with them and say, hey, I built my character a lot for role play. Is there really going to be an opportunity for me to do this? I've tried. Yeah. You know what? Unfortunately, if you feel like you're not getting out of your group what you are aiming for, sometimes it might just not be a fit for you. If the rest of the party is, super heavy into combat, you might have to find a new group for a little while. Get out, get that role play that you need. I was gonna say, I found a question a little similar to this. Do you feel it's okay to give monsters feat to balancing? Yes, 100%. Give monsters feats. Yeah, give them shadow touched. Let them misty step. Give a spellcaster elemental adept and allow them to reroll 1s and 2s on elemental damage. It is 100% okay to give monsters feats. That's actually like a thing in the DMG about buffing encounters. Even my talents books that my players know about, I have in there I don't have it, but the guy who made those books literally added one that was just monster talent to give to your monsters. So 100% tack on feats and tack on extra abilities when it comes to monsters, especially if your players are starting to trounce everything you're putting at them. Monsters with feats depends on the feat. Yeah. And that's true. That is true. It is, you do have to be careful about some combos. Yeah, Jared, fucking using petty. If you still want to play with them in combat, you could ask if they can make more. Yeah, that is another true. That is another option. Talk to your DM about rolling up another character that's more combat focused. So that's I wouldn't have an issue if one of my players felt like they weren't having fun with a character. I don't see an issue of, them making a new one. I'm having getting to chat with him if need be. I'll leave and ask if I can make figment of the party's imagination. Combat less. Yeah, that is kind of the unfortunate thing about combat. Soccer, if you don't mind me asking, how many players are in that group? Yeah, because if you have if there's a lot of players in the group, combat drags. I run the 2 games or the 3 games that I run. In 2 of the groups I have 6 players, and in one of the groups, okay, so it's 6 players, 30 to 50 NPCs per. Why? Okay, much like Cat Darkness there, I don't know your situation with your campaign. If your DM is regularly throwing out 30 to 50 NPCs per combat, you might need to kind of bounce from that, because that's never not gonna take hours. Stacy and Ravenous there are talking about, they're 2 players in my games, and we had an encounter once where the players had to go up to a this old mill, and there was dozens of orcs up there, and they drew the attention, and the orcs started rampaging at them. Now, I personally felt like it took, I mean, it took a long time, but with the tools that I use, I'm able to very quickly move through that stuff. But I would never make encounters 30 to 50 people regularly. He started making them groups, but like even the groups, yeah, no. See, I know there's not like a hard or fast rule set for this. My general rule of thumb is if you want it to be a big encounter, you should have roughly, like, if you want it to be like a massive encounter, you can drop in 5 times the amount of players, including sidekicks. Okay, so 6 players with no sidekicks, you're looking at about 30 enemies. But on average, if you want it to be like a mundane party size, have it be 1 enemy per player. And then if you want it to be a little more difficult, just ramp that up to 2. I personally would not run most encounters with more than double the amount of enemies as there are players. Because at that point, yeah, you are taking a long time to do anything as a DM. Because often we have ally including as groups, but separate turns. Yeah, I mean, make stronger, have less enemies and just make them stronger. Or, and you might recommend this to your DM. Let me see if I can pull up the resource I used to have for this. Was it Nerdarchy? I think it might have been. Yeah. Okay. So something that you might put out to your, to your DM is something like minions. Okay. So one of the things that you can do is basically have like single point characters on there that just take 1 turn, but they represent groups of enemies. Have them be a huge creature or a large creature that takes up 4 squares or takes up a few more, and have it be a large group of a bunch of enemies, but it has a lot of hit points. Okay, it has a high AC. You stream this campaign. If that is the case, I will be going to your Twitch. We are gonna mute that for right now. Okay, you guys are playing on Roll20 at least. Yeah, I'm curious to look into this. But yeah, like I said, I'll send you this. Oh, you're using. Oh, that is fantasy. Wait, is that Fantasy Grounds? Oh, that is. You just have it. Okay, wow, that caught me off guard. You have it in. Wait, no, wait. Is that Fantasy? That's Fantasy Grounds? Oh no, wait, no, that's Roll20. Oh, I see. In some of them you're using Roll20 and then oh, okay. Yeah, I see in the one it's Roll20 from yesterday. And then from the one from 9 days ago is Fantasy Grounds. Okay, so that's the other group. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna check out your stream later, and we'll look into it. I'm curious to see how he runs it. Having fun with my other 3 campaigns. I didn't play much. My first session was kind of fun. Stream 3 games. Yeah, I stream too. I know how you feel. Every Sunday, and then I also run one at my local library, and then I play in 2 others. So I feel you. I feel you on that. But yeah, I'm gonna send you out. I'm gonna post up this link. So this is to a Nerdarchy. I don't know why that whole thing didn't go through, but it'll take you to where you need. Oh, that's why. So definitely check out that link. That is just a lot of stuff about minion rules. And like I said, the way that you can kind of do that is instead of having multiple enemies on the map that are taking a long time to get through, you have less tokens that do slightly more damage. So if you wanted it to be a tough character for level 8 players, they are going to do 4d10 damage. They're going to have a 15 AC and 130 hit points. This way you can kind of, tack them down. And a cool mechanic that you can use is actually as you whittle down their hit points. So like if it's 130 and it's starting at 130, once it gets down to 65, you could have this damage they're doing reduced in half. So, that's an option. I play 2 on Saturdays. Well, I'll be checking it out. I'll probably also be starting to run games, some one-shots on Saturdays, because I have Saturdays now available. I need more D&D. I have mostly consistent game. One game is a bit shaky and need to look about. Yeah. Like I said, I run a game every Sunday for the most part. We miss occasionally. One is the Phandalin 5, and it's based on the Dragon of Icespire Peak plus the Rise of Tiamat campaign. I run a Rise of the Frost Maiden, or Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign. That's been going for about 2 years. I run a game at my local library that is the it's the Dragon of Icespire Peak plus some Shadowfell content in there that my players are starting to dig into. I play in a Marvel RPG game where I play a superhero who has lightning speed and can shoot lightning. And then I'm now going to be playing in a Pathfinder 2e game, playing a Shuni bard named Beauregard, who is a little pug person entertainer. And I'll bring up. Oh yeah, there he is. There's my boy. There's my Beauregard, the screaming pug. He's amazing, and I love him with all my heart. So excited with my character Rakiria, because a half-orc has told me as a player they like my character as soon as I get to reveal a secret. Nice. Also building my world to run. That's awesome. Yeah, keep us updated. If you're at all interested, definitely join over on the Discord. The link's above me, or you can click the About button below me and click the big Discord button. In there, tell us about this stuff. There's a lot of people in here that are over there, and you can keep track with the stuff we talk about. I also have a whole listing of free books over there, adventures, supplements, maps, tokens, all kinds of stuff. So if you are interested, in some free resources, join the Discord and go to the archives and scroll the whole way to the top. All kinds of stuff in there for whatever you're looking at. Plus just good people in there. There's good folks always doing stuff. So curse Discord's 100 server limit. Oh boy, do I feel that. My DM only likes one of those two. Oh, my two favorite characters are me and Sprocket. Yeah, Sprocket is something else, man. I'll tell you what. Chaos Incarnate. Ooh. See, I'm in a bunch of them, but they're all just D&D related. And then beyond that, I just have some random Discords that I'm in that I don't pay attention to. Yeah, but I also have Nitro. That's the other thing. I also pay for Discord. All right, so I'm going to answer this last question so I can at least get these off my screen. So, about to start with 3 first-time players and myself, first-time player and DM. I've got the starter kit, Dragon of Stormwreck Isle, which seems great, but I saw a lot of comments saying it can actually be very difficult for a party of 3. I thought a good workaround might be to give the ranger her animal companion at level 1 or 2. Is this a good idea or a bad idea? Is there a better way I can scale down the difficulty for 3 players? Okay, so easy answers here. So first off, yeah, sure. Give the ranger their companion earlier. Just make it, nerf it just a little bit. I do have a homebrew chat. Yes, I do. If you have monsters or whatever, yeah, throw them in. We got all kinds of stuff. I want to see this. The Way Wanderer, medium aberration. Advantage on spells. Every creature within 30 feet is pulled. But using a reaction to hold on to something, that's pretty sick. When it's reduced, it explodes. 15-foot radius. That's sick. Oh, this is cool. Oh, Warder. Oh, I thought it was Wanderer. Way Warder. The Warder turns invisible until the end of its next turn. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's okay. Wow. My mind, for some reason, I thought this was like, I thought that was worded a different way, but no, that's pretty badass. I really like that. Yeah, no, that's sick, man. Yeah, I'm always looking for new homebrew. I talked about it this evening, earlier in the stream, but I built a new barbarian subclass called the Path of the Cordyceps, where you are infected with a fungal entity that is making you stronger over time. An Eldritch Monk subclass. I hope they get to use some key points to shoot some Eldritch blasts. All right, so let's take a look at Sakura's character. Oh, it's a little blurry. Oh, it's like a kitsune. Oh, is that what it's supposed to be? Is it supposed to be a kitsune or some like fox hybrid? The Eldritch Blast steps on the feet of the sun's. Hey! I respect your choice not to do it. Not the choice I would make, but I respect it. All right, so put this over here. Yeah, so yeah, sure, give the ranger their companion early. Add a sidekick. So if things are too hard for your players, add a sidekick, especially if they only have 3 players. 4 is kind of the ideal space. And lastly, just debuff the enemies. That's a pretty simple one. Lower their HP, lower their AC, don't make them do as many attacks. Also, Stormwreck Isle is not that hard. It's actually pretty well balanced. But yeah, so that's gonna do it for the questions from the DM Academy. So close that out. I think we're just gonna chill here for a bit to get it made look like here, let me as I do. If you are looking to make stuff look more like official, use this website. This is actually where I was making my Path of the Cordyceps today. So you can add it on there, and you can even add different themes and whatnot. So if you want it to be like the sword meow with this nice little corner piece, or if you want to use the default one, which has a little bit more of a kind of fanciful look to it. So yeah, GM Binder, that's pretty much where I always do mine. Either that or the home brewery. It's basically the same thing. Like to make my sheets as art projects. I'll drop some. Yeah, definitely, dude. I appreciate that. Love to see what you got going on. Ooh. Daily for 3 weeks, right? That's right, buddy. Planned on using homebrew. So, I mean, GM Binder is pretty much the same thing, but it's actually not that difficult once you get in, like once you really get into it. And the other thing that I will say about the home brewery, the GM Binder, sorry, is when you want to make a race for something. So we're just gonna call this race. You can actually go into here and erase everything. Click this and where is it? Oh, they used to have it. Shoot, it's gone now. They actually used to have like a it was like a race block as well. So, but you know, you can find templates for here. That's not even a question. GM Binder race template. There we go. So we're gonna grab code. There we go. So if you're doing races, if you go to the GM Binder, you can go to this site. That'll take you here, and then just click this button up here in between view user profile and print. This will bring you up the code. Just copy all of this into the one that you're working on, and it'll actually just kind of fill in everything for you, and then just do what you need to do. So, ooh, that's sick. Aldacrin, that's pretty badass, man. So if you have a file for that, I would love for you to post that. Oh, dude, you got really good art. Dead Star Golem, man, you got all kinds of shit going on. That's sick. That's cool, man. Oh. All right. There we go. Clear out those. No, I didn't even see what you said. I know where you work. I'll stop by and harass you in person. Cops won't stop me. I'll keep that in mind. Maybe I'll start writing up some notes here. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do that for a little bit before I head off for the night. So only got him in art form. Oh, I gotcha. Ooh, tiny. Dude, I love the little like orb thing. It's a hard mechanical nut to crack, but there's fun. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh. This race, though, gets 3 cantrips. Taken from a 5e feat, and 2 spells like Tiefling gets. They get 1 proficiency in either Deception or Stealth, +2 in Charisma, 35 feet of movement. Dark Vision is 15 in Human or 30 in Fox. Also no Sylvan, Common, and Japanese. Interesting. I mean, in all honesty, would be a Bard, Warlock, Necromancer, which both use yeah. If you're talking about the Warlock, the Legion Warlock, yeah. But I mean, Warlocks are charisma. So okay. All right, so I got to write some notes for this. All right, so 5e Bard subclass that is the college of the undead circus ringleader. I don't know. I guess the undead circus. What's that one? Oh, yeah. I guess it would just be Undead Circus. 2 rogues, 3 warlocks, and 2 artificers. Boy, I feel you on that. I've played 2 bards. 2 bards? 3 bards. I've played 3 bards. 2 paladins. 2 warlocks, and then I've played a fighter, a ranger, a monk, a barbarian, and trying to think of like some of the one shots. I mean, I've played, but I mean mostly play either bard or paladin. Played a lot of sorcerer, then some monk. Tried fighter, yeah. Beast barbarians are pretty badass. You play that as a shifter, and it's really like it's really compatible. Cantrips have a list I made. They're all RP ones. Spells are Crown of Madness and Healing Spirit. Okay. The greatest show unearthed. Okay. Oh. I've only had a single session of a wizard and druid. Oh, I also played an artificer. That's right. I played an artificer named Alphonse for a little while. And then the rest of my 5 years are as an arcane trickster. Damn. All right, so the greatest show unearthed is a subclass based around the bard being able to raise the dead in order to have them perform for him. We also need abilities to entice people to come and watch the show. And distract them. So we're kind of doing like a distraction thing. So raise the dead in order to have them perform for him and act as companions in combat. All right, so we got a bard that's an undead ringleader who's raising the dead in order to have them perform for him and act as companions in combat. It needs to have some abilities that that entice people to watch the show and keep them distracted. What else? What else would we want for something like this? I'm trying to think of. I'm gonna have to look at the other ones. I'll send you what inspired this. Yeah, please do, because we need something for like the bardic inspiration. Oh, what is going on? Why do I have those back up? Yeah. Send me whatever inspired this. I'm curious. I'm trying to think of some of the other. I made a bard subclass not too long ago. That was the College of the Crimson Curtain. Oh boy, you sent me a YouTube video. Oh, it's a song. Okay, I'll have to watch that later. I don't want to get hit by TOS. What's up? Welcome back, Zingy. How you doing, man? We're just kind of hanging out at this point. Finished up answering some questions this evening. Now we're just kind of hanging out, just relaxing. All right. Do. I'm just trying to figure out stuff with my players, to be honest. Supposed to play Friday, so we were hoping to start by 5 p.m., but one player never knows his work schedule. Ugh. I found a kind of funny question. Use creativity for naming NPCs. Yeah, dude, I remember when I first started running my P5 game, I had 2 players in there. They eventually left. Their schedules were constantly like, you know, they were always late to stuff. So I know how you feel. I know I personally also struggle sometimes with my work schedule because when I run my game at the library, I'm often leaving my job to try and get down to my local library as quickly as possible, and sometimes I can also be late. Always sucks. Like, come on, the opening lyrics, the guy welcome you to the Dark Carnival. Honestly, that would be a better name. The College of the Dark Carnival? Are you kidding me? Dude, that's a better name. I'm like, I have a document open, so I am like starting to write stuff down, but I'm 100% changing the greatest show on earth to Dark Carnival. That's awesome. The question I found: weird request, I know, but I need help coming up with D&D appropriate candy related to stripper names. Okay. I'm helping two of my players flesh out their backstory, and because they are strippers going by their stripper names Candy and Kane, I decided their club is candy themed and coworkers. Oh God. Shit, I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, step right up. Behind this curtain lies a ghastly concoction of delight, horror, fantasy, and terror. Your every wish is our command, your every whimsical desire brought to life. But I'm warning you, there's always a price. Welcome to the greatest show on earth. Yeah, no, it's pretty sick. Candy theme name Spice and Drop. Oh shoot, I don't know, man. All right. Here you go, Zingy. Oh crap, it formatted that weird. I had it in a list going down. I can't even edit that now. So we got Sweet Taffy, obviously Candy Cane, Bubblegum Pop, Sugar Plum, Lollipop Twist, Jelly Bean Jive, Cotton Candy Swing, Gummy Bear Groove, Chocolate Drop, and Peppermint Shuffle. Like, you can use any one of these. I just googled it. Candy themed names for dancers. All right, let's keep going on this. Finding some. I gotta find some reference material now for this this whatchamacallit, this College of the Dark Carnival. All right, so what are we thinking? Google is always or Kel stripper named Sweet Rolls. Goddamn right. Oh, my back. All right, so what are we gonna do for this Dark Carnival? So we're obviously gonna raise dead. That's a thing. So we're probably gonna do like animate dead or something like that. So animate dead at least. So maybe whenever you raise raise dead, or like, you know, whenever you animate dead, you can like give it some kind of like performance based trait, like a musical instrument or a dance ability, or like, you know, the ability to juggle, something like that. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Like I said, I have some ideas floating around my head right now. Because I'm kind of thinking like if this is something where like you can like animate dead and give them like some proficiency with like a performing skill, and then this way, if you're making a performance check, they're gonna give you advantage. And then like you can have them just like function in combat. Yeah, like the juggling zombie. That's it. If you're trying to distract somebody, you go up, you have like 2 zombies and they're just juggling. Yeah, I'm cool with this. I have some notes here. That I've been typing up, so we'll dig into this on another day. But I think that's probably gonna do it for us tonight. So we had some fun here, answered some questions, looked at some homebrew, met some new folks. Kat and Sakura, thank you so much for stopping by. Lovely talking with both of you. Always love having some new folks around. I know, Zingy, I'm so sorry. We can, if anybody else is streaming. Well, let me look around. We'll see who's out there. Well, is Glenn? Oh, Glenn is streaming. You know what? All right, everybody. We are 100% going over to we're 100% going over to my buddy's stream. He's streaming right now. He's playing the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. So good call for that, Stacy. So there we go. We're about to raid Glenn over on his stream.
Hey, Cal, thanks for the raid. Someone murdered my darling Sonic.
We arrived just in time.
Yay, my first raid. Woo! I did it, Mom. I made it to big time. Someone murdered my darling Sonic. Well, she's so happy about it. Looks like the game's begun of finding out who did this at once. Wait, I want to figure out who did this too. Wait for me. What a whirlwind. I'm exhausted already.
Let's bring this window up.
He dead.
He's dead.
Sonic? What are you saying? I don't understand. Sonic? Sonic!